Hi guys, the Adventurous Allotment here. I'm just on my allotment. I'm doing an update for June. My latest video is an update for June, so the last one I did I think was on the 8th of May. And this is a follow-up, and today it's the 11th of June, I think. So I'm just going to do an update on both the fruit and the ornamental part of the allotment. Probably not going to do the greenhouse this time. I'll probably do that in a separate video altogether. But like basically, so we're going to start with the fruit this time, the fruit area. In the previous videos we started with the ornamental area, but I think we'll start with the fruit. And first of all, in logical order, we'll start with this, with the Chile Guava. And it hasn't actually got into flower yet. I mean, a month ago these flower buds were tiny, of course. And as you can see here on the plant, they're not fully formed yet, but there's quite a few of them. So if we can get out the sun, there's a lot of them, but they're not yet flowering. I don't think there are any that have opened either. Yeah, they're all, as far as I can tell, they're all still developing. There's a few that are close, like this one here, but there's none that are open yet. But yeah, that's on the way. In the next few weeks they should be open. But yeah, that's that one doing well. You don't really need to be concerned about that so much. The gooseberries are almost ready actually, as you can see. The fruit's actually changing colour, which is indicative that it's getting ready to ripen and possibly fall off. I don't know if they tend not to fall off so much. I do have to give them a yank to get them off, but they're not ready yet. They'll need to turn all the way pink, nearly all the way red pink colour, so they're not quite ripe yet, but they will be, I think, again in another couple of weeks. Fig was not good. It was a bit of a failure. Last time I checked, and I did the video on this fig, it had some embryo, well, not embryo, it had some small figs developing quite well. Unfortunately, they started turning yellow and dropping off. There seems to be more coming through, but again, why, they haven't done well, so I don't think that these will do anything either. That's the problem. So I'm just going to leave this possibly for this year. I now know that even in good conditions it's not going to set fruit, so I'm going to have a think about what I'm going to do and what I'm going to replace this with in the future. So that's just the way it goes, really. We had a good winter. We didn't have the frost that we had last April, and we still couldn't get them to develop figs. So I think we can assume that that's the sort of thing that will happen every year. So I'm gonna have to, unfortunately, get rid of this and replace it with, I think, another cultivar, probably a proper brown turkey. And this time instead of planting it in the ground like that, I think I'll restrict the roots. So because that is apparently the way to get fruit. So moving on, this is the pomegranate that never flowers. Pomegranate that never flowers, but we'll see. Apparently these flower quite late, anytime between May and sort of July. May and June in some parts, but as late as July. So basically nothing happened with this yet. I presume that at some point it would flower. I mean, it's big enough, it's got enough leaves, but no sign yet. I'll leave it for this year and see what happens, and then if not, then I guess I'll have to do something else in this area. Moving along to the Azores blueberry, which is flowering well this year. It's still growing. I remember doing the video last time, it was quite good. I did a video not long ago on it. The flowers are pretty much up, like most of them are open now, I think. Looking good against the blue sky. I like that little shot that the camera's got there. Still with the vibrant green. These will of course produce berries throughout the rest of the summer. So doing quite well. It looks good, at least. I did a video recently on this actually, and you can watch that if you haven't already, and it was just sort of talking about that and the usefulness of the berries and all that kind of thing. Okay, moving on. Move around here to a pineapple guava, or the feijoa. This one is almost at flowering point. There's a few largish buds on this, so you can see here. There's these flower buds here. There's flower buds everywhere on this actually. There's loads of flower buds down here and on here and everywhere really. There's loads of them actually all over the plant. So I think this is gonna have a lot of flowers this year. So we might get more fruit, but without another pollinator, at least till next year, this will have limited fruit production. We've got the one over there, but that's not fruiting yet, so we can't help each other out with the swapping of the flowers to produce the pollen for these. But this is, but this will produce a few fruits. It's just going to be just probably most of them are going to fall off again like they usually do. But yeah, doing well. This is the pineapple guava, looking good, looking happy as ever. So yeah, pleased with that. The next one I'm going to do is the citrus here, and a few other plants actually in here. I may as well cover. But we've got the citrus here, and as you can see, the leaves have really developed since what they were in the last update. They've, if you rise my shadow, you can see just how much development's going on in those leaves. And as that said, there's flower buds on it. If you can see, I've lost it. There's a flower bud in there somewhere. There it is. It's just there it is. You can see it there. There's one there, and there's one right in amongst the leaves. They're still flowering, and it's doing well. And that's it overall. That's a nice plant. Everything around it's doing well as well. That's good. There's also a newly planted, can't see it very well, but a ginger lily that I've planted there. Actually, it might be an actual one of these is a real ginger. One of these is actual ginger. I don't know whether it's that one over there or this one. I think it might be that one there. It's an actual ginger that I bought a ginger root for, and I planted it and it grew up. So one of those is a real ginger, and I don't know which one. And one of them is a Himalayan ginger lily. So they kind of both look similar at this stage. So I think it's that one, to be honest, because that one's got the narrower leaves. That's interesting. And then if I come over here, the last one really, well, not the last one, but this is how the Luma apiculata in the tea is getting on. The Luma apiculata here, straight ahead, that's actually put some decent growth on since the last update video. The leaves are still quite large on it. That will produce fruit, of course. I'm going to do another video. I'm going to do a video specifically about this plant next, so that'll be interesting. And also the tea plants here, they're doing well. They've grown a fair bit since, so you can see them all here. Some of the small ones. This one particularly has put quite a bit of growth on, and that's good to see. The last plant I'm going to cover now quickly is the grapevine, which I did give some training the other day. So as you can see here, I'm now in the process of again training this new branch along the wire, because last year it died back a bit, obviously. So I'm training this along, and it's growing nicely. I've cut them back to divert the energy into these stems again. It does appear like these will be flowering stems here and here, and possibly here. So I think there's a small chance of a flowering stem this year, but whether it actually develops into anything because it's quite late is another thing entirely. But it's good, doing well. And while I'm here, I may as well show you the potted citrus. I've got some potted citrus. I think this is a mandarin, or is it a no, this is I think this is a kumquat actually. I think this is a kumquat. I also think this is a kumquat, and they look very healthy in the green, which is nice. And they were, of course, they were grown from seed, so it's doing nicely. and this also is a kumquat, but they look very variable in nature, but I think that's just the way it is when you grow stuff from seed. And the last one, actually, before I forget, is the strawberry tree, which is growing nicely. It looks really lush now, actually. All this new green foliage growing up should support the fruit that are left on it. And since the last video, there's been quite a bit of growth in them. So you've got some fruits actually a really decent size now. Don't know whether you can see them, but you got that one there. And there's various fruits around the plant. Not as many as there was previously, but there's plenty of them. And they've actually developed their red colouring quite early in some cases. So, but that's it really. That's it for the fruit section. Next, I'm going to do a video on the ornamental section. Thanks for watching. Please like this. Please subscribe if you haven't, and leave us a comment. What do you think of this? If you remember watching the last video, has it changed much or what? I don't know. I think it has, to be honest, but it'd be nice to know what you think. Anyway, again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time for another video.